Paul's really impressed by my clapping.
Yeah. It always gets my attention.
Yeah.
It's like a firework, but without the bright lights.
It's the worst part. What you're saying is the worst part of a firework.
You don't like the loud bangs? The bangs are great.
It's like, you know when you have a firework? Imagine closing your eyes and watching a firework. It's like that.
See, I feel like that's still great because the light doesn't give you any sense of like being terrified. The sound is what gets you.
Yeah, if you hear
Ah,
that.
yes, I love being terrified.
It's
What
part of the fun.
All right, you ready? Paul's really impressed.
Yeah. It always gets my attention.
It hasn't.
Woo!
It's good when it's like.
It's like a firework, but without the bright lights.
Yeah, and then people. That's the thing. People.
Everything about a fire.
It's the worst. What you're saying is the worst part of a firework.
You don't
Yeah.
like the loud bangs? The bangs are great.
It's like, you know when you have a firework? Imagine closing your eyes and watching a firework. It's like that.
See, I feel like that's still great because the light doesn't give you any sense of like being terrified. The sound is
The
what
sound,
gets you.
yeah. If you hear
Ah,
that.
yes, I love being terrified.
It's
What a-
part of the fun.
All right, you ready?
Mhm.
Hey, welcome to episode 152 of Frenzy Gamer. I'm here with Paul
Hey,
and Blake.
Hey, Nick.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Hey, how you doing,
Good.
Paul?
yeah, good. How
Yep.
are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Nick?
Good.
Yep.
How you going?
How's your week been?
Good.
Good?
Good.
Good all round.
Yeah.
Good all
All right.
around.
We usually talk about video games we've been playing. But let's start with you, Blake. What have you been playing?
Oh, my God.
Because I already know.
Oh, my God.
I
Do you
already
have one
know.
of those early access games for us that you?
Let me think. Have I bought any early access games?
I know for a fact you have because you told me.
Did I? Gee, I don't even remember which ones I bought now. Well,
V Rising was.
Oh yeah, V Rising. Yes, that was early access. Was it early access?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We could talk about that, but I know the thing you're hinting at.
Uh huh. Say it.
I finished Zelda.
Yes. Finally,
It
after
only is
5
there,
years or whatever.
You know how people do speed runs? Is there an opposite of
a
that?
slow run?
Yeah.
Uh huh. Yeah, I think you're in the lead for that.
Nice. Nice. Watch
finally,
my stream.
You beat Zelda. The last divine beast you did was the giant
The lava?
volcano lizard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you went and you took out Ganon.
Yep.
And then you did the DLC.
No, I did the DLC first.
You did. Oh, right. I forgot that. You
Yeah,
jumped
because I
into Divine
bought
Beast.
the whole thing as a package, so I got all
course.
the DLC stuff, and I stumbled across the because I finished all the Divine Beasts, and then I stumbled across the start of the motorbike quest,
Yeah,
which I didn't realize that was the quest I was on. So the
Yeah.
whole time I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna get some kind of weapon, or is it like a fifth Divine Beast? Like, oh my god,
Kind
what
of is
is
a fifth divine beast.
Well, it shows up in the loading screen
Yeah.
in the spot of a Divine Beast.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole time I literally didn't know what I was like, what the reward was at the end. And you have to, God, it's such a crazy, awesome quest. Like
Yeah.
I think it's the best quest in the entire game.
It is. Yeah.
I think you have to go through and go back to all the Divine Beasts.
Yeah.
Well, first there's that. Oh my God, it's such a long thing. But first you have to you get a weapon that will kill anything in one hit, but all your hearts are removed except for like a quarter of a heart. So
Yeah,
one
it's-
hit will
it's
kill you.
one hit kill both ways.
Which was like, yeah, it was actually not too bad, and you had to take out a few camps of like enemies.
Yeah.
But the problem then is that you have to do like 4 shrines, I think, or 3
Yes.
shrines.
Yes.
And one of them is just covered in spikes that will just like, you touch it, you die, and you have to start the entire thing again. Dude, that was the most frustrating experience in
So you
the
can't
entire game I've ever
swap
had.
weapons or anything.
What's that?
You can't
No,
swap weapons or
no,
you're
for
just
this
stuck
quest.
with this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. You're just stuck with it, and then like fighting the enemies is fine. Like you just be careful. Like that's it, basically. But it was the one shrine that just had all these spikes, and you had to go through all this stuff that I probably spent like almost an hour, I think, on it. Like
Wow,
I
okay.
spent ages on it, and it was getting to a point where like there were parts of it that I'd easily gotten through, where it suddenly became incredibly frustrating and I couldn't get through it
Oh,
again.
no.
Like it was one of those.
You were on tilt at that point.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god, and I'd take a break
Uh-huh.
and then be like, and think about it for a while and then come back.
Wow.
And then when I finished it, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I've done it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is I have no recollection of this dungeon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's the one that stands out to me. I did, because you do 4 shrines per Divine Beast.
Yeah.
So you end up doing so many shrines, and literally that's the only one I really remember the most.
Interesting.
And it was like the first one.
Uh-huh.
It was
I have no recollection of it whatsoever.
it's unbelievably frustrating.
Oh man.
Because you just get too close to a wall with spikes and boom, dead. You got to restart the entire
I guess maybe
shrine
I'm just
again.
am I better at video games than you?
Maybe you yeah.
Or you're better at repressing the memory.
Yeah. probably.
Yeah. It
Uh,
was great fun though. It was great fun, and you go through, you do those shrines, and then you fight the divine beasts again.
yes.
And the fights are slightly different. I'm pretty sure, and they just seem more like there's more mechanics going on, and there's more interaction with your special abilities. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
I'm quite sure there was like
That vaguely rings a bell.
there were ones where I did the elephant one last, which I originally had done first. So
Yeah.
my memory of it is pretty vague, but it's throwing like ice cubes at me. And if I use my like ice ability, I can just smash them before they get to me.
Yeah.
And I do not remember that at all in the first fight.
I'm pretty sure that was the case before.
Was it? I really don't remember. But you go into
pretty
those.
sure that they teach you that in order to get into the dungeon in the
Ah.
first place.
Yeah. But you also go into those fights with like limited weapons. Like they give you a different set of weapons.
That's right.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. That's something I found interesting about that whole quest is the limitations they impose, basically. Did you ever do the Eventide Island
Oh yeah.
dungeon?
Yeah.
That I loved that because
Yeah.
for that exact reason, where it was like a microcosm of the whole game.
Yeah.
Where have you played Zelda?
I have, but quite a while ago, and I didn't finish it.
So I don't know if you've done this one, but in like the bottom right hand corner of the map, I think there's like an island, and it's hard to get to. Maybe it's not bottom right. Anyway, there's an island way off the coast.
Yeah.
And you have to have a bunch of stamina to get there, and you fly there, and when you get there, or I think you can get there by boat. Anyway, you get there as soon as you touch land. It's like we're gonna take away all of your items and all of your powers, and you're gonna start from scratch.
Huh.
And you have to get the 3 orbs in their pedestals if you want to get off the island and get all your stuff back.
Is that the only part of the game that removes all your
Yeah.
thing? I think maybe I did do that.
Yeah,
I can barely remember though. It was quite a while ago
Yeah.
that I.
but I
last played
loved
it.
that was a thing at all. Like it's just like here, start again. Here's like a mini version of Zelda all on this one island.
Yeah.
Which was just I think really fun.
Yeah.
And then there's like I just love the little twists they find ways they find to put little twists in things. Like there's the one that's a shrine area that's completely shrouded in darkness.
Oh yeah, I did that one. Yeah, not too long ago.
It's really
Yeah.
it's exciting and weird. And you have
Yeah.
to do everything by like sort of
Yeah.
by light. You have to try and look for the light sources and distance
Mm.
and by memory. Like,
Did you? I remember figuring that out quite quickly, of how to get to the shrine in the dark forest.
Uh-huh.
I know maybe a spoiler, but I noticed as soon as I walked in there were these like bird pedestals that you can light on
Yes.
fire, and I noticed that some of them were just pointing at each other,
Uh-huh.
and so I just followed them until I eventually like got to the shrine.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then on my way, like once I finished the shrine,
Get out.
all the lights go out again.
Yeah.
and you have to find your way out
Yeah.
in complete darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really great little twist.
Mm.
So you did the DLC.
Yep.
And there's at the end of the DLC, there's like this 5th dungeon basically.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed.
Mm.
I don't remember any of the specifics other than it feeling kind of like a giant clockwork.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of things like you go in there and there's part of the entire thing is moving,
Yes.
and it's just like a divine beast. You can like go to your map and you can change which way this whole like the walls of the place are moving.
That's right. Yeah.
And doing that, there's things where you have to use your magnetic thing to lock parts of a wall into this moving wall that then make the rest of the
Right.
new
like
parts of the
gears or
dungeon
something.
move. Yeah, so it's like you're plugging in all these things into this like big gear, like these big gears that are turning. Yeah, and yeah, you end up using, I don't know, it's
It's the culmination of
Yeah.
all four of them.
yes,
Yeah.
that's it. That's what the words I'm looking for. It's like the combined of
Yeah.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like built upon all your knowledge from past divine beasts.
Yes.
Basically, that's and then at the end they do an interesting thing that I didn't expect with a final boss fight. That should just spoil it?
I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 years.
I guess
think
so,
you can
yeah. But
probably spoil.
okay, so when you normally go through shrines, you get to the end of the shrine and there's like this mummified monk
Yeah.
guy, and he gives you your orb.
Yeah.
And at the end of this shrine, you get there, and then he starts moving in a weird way. It turns out, oh shit, this guy is the final boss.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And his fight. See, that's the thing. Going from his fight
Yes.
to Ganon's fight was such a step down.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because Ganon's fight is designed to get easier and easier for every divine beast you've done,
Mm.
and every shrine you do also gives you more health and stamina. So
Yeah.
the more you progress through the game, the easier that final fight is. And
Yeah.
it's meant to be like sort of up to the player to determine their level of difficulty. Whereas this is like literally you have to have done all 4 divine beasts and all these other very difficult challenges,
Yeah.
and then we throw a big hard boss fight at you.
Yeah.
So in many ways, it's the true final boss.
It definitely is. Like it's definitely got a lot more phases than any of
Yes.
the other bosses, and they're all like interesting and have different ways of like mechanics of like actually like beating the guy.
Yeah, you're basically fighting a ninja.
Yeah.
And it like creates clones of itself, and then
Yeah.
it's like a giant version of itself, and it does all these crazy things.
Yeah. Oh
what a
my
great
god,
fight.
the clones of itself. And I went in there. I think during the fight, my smaller sword, my master sword, ran out. So all I had was like big, heavy, one-handed weapons. And the ninja guy, when he splits into multiple clones, will like dash at you
Yep.
and hit you. And by the time my slow attack hits, it's like a full miss, and then another clone hits me from the other side, and it's a full miss again, and another clone hits me. I just feel like this slow ass guy that's just getting like pummeled by all these like little fast guys.
Yeah. So after all these years, you finally beat Zelda.
Yep.
What'd you think?
It's pretty great. I was expecting the castle to be a lot harder.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that I did do, all the divine beasts. I got like, I got into a second row of hearts, so I had quite a lot of health. I got max stamina.
Yep.
I also crafted a bunch of like ancient weapons and ancient arrows.
Oh, okay.
And like, I only found out not that long ago. Or maybe it's just that like the bows I'm using are like way stronger now. But like I was just one-shotting the ancient guardians with those arrows.
Yeah. So ancient arrows do one-shot
Yeah.
guardians. In fact, they one-shot anything, but they consume the loot. They like make a little, basically like a black hole, and suck everything into it.
But yeah, dude, as soon as like because I'd had these ancient arrows before, but I hadn't crafted any. Like I just found them, and I'd use them every once in a while. But they were just like this scarce resource. And then when I went into the castle, I was like, I better get some of these. And then one of the first guys out front, I just one shot and was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my god, this is like insanely easy now.
Yes. If you go into the castle thinking this is going to be the hardest thing, and you way over prepare, you'll probably be
I
disappointed.
was definitely way over prepared. And I'm pretty sure like after doing all that DLC stuff, I'm quite sure like one of the NPCs, maybe it was like Zelda herself or something, said to me that like you're more than ready to like take on Ganon.
Yeah, go ahead. You can do it now. You can do
It's like the strength you have now. Oh yeah, don't even worry about it. Just get in there already. You could have done this ages ago.
Go spend 5 minutes in the castle. You'll be fine.
Yeah. And then the the black and white monsters, or the black and purple monsters that are supposed to be like the hardest types. Have you?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a couple points in there where you're fighting one of the some of the centaur guys.
Yeah, the Lionels.
Yeah, and those guys always terrified me. Until now, now I'll just roll in there.
Yeah.
I was rolling in there with like a big ass sword and just doing the spinning attack on them, and then it does like a lightning thing at the end.
Yep.
And it just wrecks them, and I'm like, oh my god, this game has just like completely changed for me.
Yes. And what I find so interesting about that is it's very organic.
Yeah. Because
you don't have experience levels.
It was even
like
just
that.
a few hours before that. I was still avoiding those guys because I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with those guys. They're really tough. And now, just taking on the strongest type of them, just wrecked.
Yep, it's because you've got better armor that you've crafted yourself and upgraded yourself.
Yeah,
and then you've got better weapons that, although they're like low durability or whatever, you've accumulated this stockpile.
Yeah,
you've got more hearts. And it's all incremental and organic.
It's it is such a slow process as well.
Yes.
Yeah. You really.
So
I didn't realize how powerful I was until I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you didn't know what else there is to do.
Yeah. So now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I've beaten Ganon, so the big goal is over.
Yep.
And now I'm kind of like, well, I still want to keep playing, but I'm not really sure what else there is to do. I don't have the shield,
the Hylian shield.
Yeah, so I can go and try and find where that is.
Sure.
And there is some other DLC stuff, but it's all just like find this armor.
No,
there's not.
I mean, there's the Master Sword Trials.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. I tried that and kept failing.
Yes, it's really hard.
Yeah,
I have never beaten it, but I was playing it on Master Mode.
Oh.
So, here's what you can do.
Yeah.
There's Master Mode.
Yep.
Which is start Zelda again.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to start again.
You say that. I beat that game twice.
Yeah.
And Master Mode's really fun.
When you starting again from scratch without anything?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Hey, man. Eventide Isle's real fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to, but try it, and you'll be like, okay.
Yeah, maybe I will. But man, I'm just enjoying having all this stuff and just going around wrecking shit and finding new things. Yeah. There's things like there's stuff that there's like weird mysteries to me in that game.
Okay.
So in the snow place,
I
found these like giant doors in the sides of the mountain. And I have no idea how to open them. And I'm like, what is in there?
Giant doors
on
the sides of the mountain in the snow place.
Yeah. I've seen, I think, 3 of them at this point.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know what they are or how to open them. And it's like, I don't want to look up a guide because that always seems to spoil things.
We'll have to look after the podcast because I'm trying to remember what that is.
I'll have to find them because like I've seen them, but I'm like, I don't really remember exactly where they are.
Right. Yeah. I have some theories, but I'll have to look into it. So some of the other things you can do. Have you built Tari Town yet?
No. What? What is that?
So did you ever buy your own house?
Yeah.
Once you buy your own house, I think once you fully upgrade your house.
Oh yeah.
Which is just buying all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
One of the builders is like, great, that was really fun. You know what? I'm gonna start my own town.
Oh my god.
I've got some ideas, and the boss here doesn't really let me use them. I want to go try it out. And he goes off to the Acadian region, I think.
Oh yeah.
And you might remember there's like an area in there. It's like a big circular lake.
Dude, yes, I have.
With like a bridge,
I have
in this little circular island.
I have talked to that guy, and he's like, I need a what are those rock guys called?
Goron.
I need a Goron with the last name Sun.
Oh yes.
And so I all through the lava place because that's where those guys live. I was talking to every single one, just looking for one named a certain thing. Couldn't find anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is one.
Is he in the lava place? Okay, cool. Because I'm like, maybe he's just wandering the world now, and I just have to.
I'm pretty sure he's in the lava place.
All right, is he in? Okay, give me a hint. Is he in the town, or is he just out in the?
I think he's not. He's not in the town.
He's not in the town.
He's not far from the town.
I also haven't explored the lava place fully.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
so this Tari Town.
Yeah.
There's obviously all these shrines you can do.
Yeah, sure, the shrines, but that's fine.
There's a lot of little mini quests.
Yeah.
And they'll just give you resources or
Mm.
rupees or whatever. But there's just tons and tons and tons of
Yeah.
like personal quests you can do for people.
Yeah.
There's like upgrading your gear if you want to be like a completionist. There's 900 Korok seeds.
Yeah. Forget that. That's insane.
There's
I don't need that golden poop that badly.
with the DLC, I think there's 140 shrines altogether.
Holy hell.
What else? I think the main thing I would suggest you try, other than Tari Town,
Mm.
is trying the master mode. Master
Yeah.
mode is the most fun I think I've ever had, probably in any game, was playing Zelda master mode with the UI turned off.
Oh, wow.
So you turn off you've got your map that helps you
Mm.
navigate, and it also tells you like when you're in cold or hot regions.
Yep.
You can turn all of that off and get all that information from the animations and
Mm.
effects and
Huh.
all this stuff. And you can in master mode, the way it works, I think almost all of the monsters are of a higher tier,
Yeah.
and they regenerate health during
Oh.
combat.
Oh, okay.
So consider what that means for your weapons,
Mm.
which have limited durability. It's all about like constant pressure.
Mm.
It's a lot harder,
Hmm.
and it's really fun. They
Hmm.
also have these flying islands in master mode.
What?
Oh yeah,
What?
yeah. So all throughout the world, you'll see these like rafts.
Yeah.
They're floating in the sky with Octorok balloons, and enemies are standing on
Oh,
them.
right. Okay.
And,
yeah.
And there'll be treasure chests on them and stuff.
Ah,
And so
neat.
you can if you can get up there, you can get
Yeah.
resources.
Okay. I thought you meant islands, like
No, not
like
not
in Zelda
like
2.
like in the like in the
Like in
sequel.
yeah, like in the sequel
Yeah.
that's coming.
Oh boy, I'm so excited for that.
Man,
So-
so am I. Is it supposed to be this year? I'm sure it's supposed to be
It
this
got
year.
delayed. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
man. That's exciting.
It's exciting that it got delayed.
Wow, no, but it's exciting that like I've finished Zelda and can actually like start this game with
Yeah.
full knowledge of
So is it
the
actually
entire thing.
the sequel to Breath of the Wild?
Yeah. They haven't announced the name, I don't think. But yeah, it's the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Direct sequel.
Interesting.
I thought it was just Breath of the Wild 2. They never.
I don't know that they've officially announced the name yet.
What did they have on the? They had a trailer for it. It must have said something.
I think they said it was said the sequel to Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
is coming or whatever.
Okay. That's
Uh,
gonna be cool. I'm so interested in the lore of that.
Of the sequel?
Yeah, because of like what Ganon is,
Uh-huh.
and like the idea that Calamity Ganon isn't the actual Ganon. He's just another like avatar type thing.
yeah.
Just like how the Divine Beast monsters were. He's just another Divine Beast monster,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
And the real one is like
buried under
on the ground. So
under the
cool.
castle and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So congratulations. You finally did it.
Yep. Thanks.
Paul, what do you
3
play?
years in the making.
I started playing 20 Minutes Till Dawn.
Okay. I've never heard of it.
It's an early access game on
Whoa!
Steam.
Yeah. Nice.
No, it's
Is it a
it's
survival?
Like, it's like that Vampire Survivor game,
Oh, okay.
but you've got a crosshair and you can aim. And it's
Yeah.
guns.
Okay.
It's
so you-
super simple, but
but you actually control
Yep.
the attacks? Okay.
yeah. And there's like a bunch of different characters you can unlock. Each of them will have some different kind of bonus, and then there's like 6 different weapons I think you can unlock as well.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That's not very many.
yeah, it's very
guess it's-
early
yeah.
access in that
Yeah.
it feels like there should be a lot more in the game.
Right.
But it's still fun. You get 20 minutes to try survive, and if you survive the 20 minutes, that's it.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hence the name. 20 minutes is I think Vampire Survivors is 30, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Well, I am. It's
That's a
30.
long
Okay.
time. That's a long time in a video game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let me ask you real quick, Blake. You've been playing another game.
Yeah.
What game?
What, Death Stranding?
Yeah, and how long would you say you've been spending walking
Well,
between
probably
locations?
not as long as Zelda. probably like I'm sure it's like 2 years now.
No, but I'm talking a specific delivery.
Oh, less than 30 minutes. But I'm also thinking like, well, actually, maybe there was that one that one I had to run across the map with pizza, the hand deliver pizza and champagne in a post-apocalyptic world. This guy wants pizza and champagne delivered. But no, I mean like I played Monster Hunter, right? And those boss fights are like really long. And a prolonged boss fight, like it sounds like it's that, like it's just on the go constantly.
It's not a boss fight though. It's waves and waves.
waves.
Of monsters.
Yeah, but that, I mean, it's
and you're not
still
doing
the
it-
same kind of thing though, right? You're still fighting every every
You are
minute.
constantly fighting for that time.
in Vampire Survivors, at least, you are not doing anything other than moving, really.
right.
So it's just movement, and at that point, you can kind of consider it a bullet hell to some
Right.
degree.
Yeah.
It's movement to kill things and to collect things. You're also making choices, but your choices ultimately end up on rails to some degree. And at some point, you kind of hit a power threshold where you don't necessarily have to move as much, if at all.
Yeah, this is a lot like that as well. Once you hit a certain point, the game becomes trivial.
Yeah, and it's often the challenge is hitting that point.
Yep.
And then after that, it's just all gravy, baby. Just let that gravy soak in to your shirt.
That part of the game's really quite fun too. Just like that having struggled up until a point, and then all of a sudden you're not struggling anymore, and you're just killing like waves and waves of these things.
Yeah, it's someone described Vampire Survivors as pure dopamine, which is
Yeah, that makes sense.
fairly true.
Yeah.
It's also very cheap, and early access, so the perfect game for you.
Yeah, it was like $3.50, I think.
Oh, that's
For 20 minutes till dawn.
Oh my god, you can't afford not to buy it at that price.
It's silly, but it's fun. It's easily worth the $3.
Wow,
But
that's pretty great. $3.
Vampire
also-
Survivors, I think, is the same.
only has, I don't know, like after I've done maybe 5, I think I've beaten it 5 times. So I've maybe done 8-ish total runs or something over the last week and a bit. And it already kind of feels solved.
Oh yeah. You feel like you got your $3 worth.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's not much more for me to do in it. I can keep increasing the difficulty by beating the current difficulty, but it doesn't feel challenging once you figure out a strategy that reliably works.
Yeah. Yep. I was just gonna say that sounds like my experience with Diablo Immortal as well.
Yeah.
It's just like once I figured out like, oh, this is just what I'm doing. That's it.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Once it's a rinse and repeat stage, then you're kind of like, well, that's it. I've kind of solved the puzzle of this game.
Yeah, and the puzzle's generally the most interesting thing about the game.
Yeah, that's what's like the weird paradox I think with like survival games is that the fun is in the surviving, but your goal is to get to a point where you're not surviving.
Yes.
And then as soon as you start surviving and are not worried about any of the danger, you're like, where's the game now?
Yeah.
Like it's done.
The goal is to get to the point where you're not having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, survival games are interesting. They have kind of a reverse difficulty curve where at the beginning, they're often quite brutal and unforgiving, and your failure comes quickly and repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then as you start to learn the systems and you start to make progress, that loop slows down and the difficulty starts to ease up. And then at some point, you hit the. It's just like, okay, I've got this under control.
Yeah.
And now I guess I've survived.
Yeah. I know, that's it. You're like, and then what? Like they never have an end game, really.
Yeah. So games have tried to solve this. Some games just do regular resets. Icarus.
Yeah.
Developed by some friends of ours.
Yep.
That one has like times,
Yeah.
time limits on their like deployments or whatever they call them.
The thing I wonder about that is, I see pictures of people like building like these crazy like castles and things like that.
Yeah.
But if all that just gets erased, like I just feel like the incentive to build anything interesting is just not there. Like why? Like it just seems like you'd just build the basic log cabin to house your stuff, and because like if the whole thing's going to get reset in however many days,
Yeah.
then why build anything more elaborate?
I
Yep.
did hear that that's what actually happens too
Hmm.
in the game now. The idea is to build the most minimal hut
Hmm. Yeah. It
that you
just.
can just
Yeah.
drop in and carry on doing other stuff.
Yeah. I haven't played the game, and
Neither have I.
and maybe I should, so I'd have a better idea of it. But like, I don't know what the meta that you're building towards is, you know, because you're going down to get these like magic resources to take it back up to this space station to buy
better
stuff.
missions and stuff.
Yeah, and then I think you use that stuff to go down so you can more easily get the magic resource.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the loop is either.
Yeah.
We should look into it. What's interesting though, I think the game that has best solved this issue, and it's still not perfectly solved, I don't think, but I think they've done it the closest, is Terraria.
Oh, what do they have? They have bosses?
They have bosses,
Yeah.
and like layers of bosses.
Oh, yeah.
So like
Yeah.
and there's like you have to beat certain bosses to unlock like new tech to some degree,
Mm.
and so you can only really go so far or advance so far until you fight these bosses.
Yeah.
And some of the bosses require like specific setups. And then there's like also random events where like you goblin blood moons or whatever, where goblins will just start rushing towards your base from
Oh,
off
wow.
the screen, and
Yeah.
and you just have to sit and defend and whatever. So
That's cool. V Rising has a similar thing. Like
Okay.
like quite early on, as just part of the standard like tech progression,
Yeah.
you have to beat certain bosses that are just around, around the map in order to like get a new tech to be able to like progress your buildings and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Like it forces you to go out, and it's also like it forces because you have the day-night cycle and you burn to death in the sunlight.
Yeah.
It forces you to go out, like instead of just hiding in the safe dark woods. It forces you to kind of like go out further and further every time, which I think is like, I don't know, it's like a great idea. It like makes you actually go out and explore the world.
But at some point you'll hit.
At some point you do, and
Yeah.
the thing is, it seems like maybe it's kind of early on that you hit that point where you're like, well, that's it. Because this game came out and all my friends played it, right?
Your survival crew.
My survival crew, they played it. I wasn't playing it. And then they played it for a week, and then I was like convinced by some of the other guys from work to try it. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. Jumped on, and they invited me to their server. The whole time I've been playing, no one has been online. Like, and I found their like giant castle and everything, and they had servants walking around. Like it seemed like within a week they had like hit the max of what that game has, and they're done with it.
I just had an idea for a solution to this potentially.
Yeah.
Which is when you have a specific goal.
Yeah.
The game gives you, and you're building towards that goal. You're building your castle or whatever so that you can get to this goal. And as soon as you achieve that goal, you are forced to start a new character, and the new goal is to conquer your previous.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And you can do that repeatedly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So each time it gets more and more difficult.
But wouldn't you build in backdoors?
Yeah, exactly.
Next person to come through. And...
it's a good question. I think you would have to build the system such that like there's a reason that your castle has to be well defended. Like you regularly have to defend against AI assaults on your dwelling.
Yeah.
And so you don't put in backdoors because that makes you vulnerable. And so then later on, when you have to assault this castle, it's built to withstand your own assault.
Or it could it would be cool if it was like other players were able to come in and attack your castle. So
every time they try that though, the
like Rust,
PvP
basically.
ends up implemented like badly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking more of like an invasion type situation, like
in Dark Souls,
like a Dark Souls invasion type, where it's like it's a set time. You know this invasion is coming.
Yeah.
You know, so instead of relying on AI, because that can be dodgy sometimes, you just rely on a player to invade in and like try to take on this castle that you've built.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, maybe because like the thing that you're talking about, there's that Conan survival game.
Yeah.
That I can't remember what it was called that I played a lot.
Yeah.
Last year, I think.
Uh-huh.
And that had these like these waves of enemies would spawn and attack your base at certain times.
Yeah.
And like you knew when those times were coming, so you could prepare for it. But the AI was so like just dog shit.
Yeah.
That it was like trivial. Like I remember we were like so excited for this because we'd built up this crazy like defense thing, and then they spawned behind our walls. Like the attack spawned inside our base,
Okay.
not outside. And then the next time we like were encountering it, we were like, okay, we're ready for this. We got a smaller, more smaller base, but like stronger, not as wide, not as large. And we got attacked by these like slow moving lizards that we just shot from the walls, and we're like, oh, is that it? Is that we?
Oh, boy.
Like it didn't live up to the hype that we expected.
I think the key would be when I'm picturing it in like the 2D Terraria style, where the AI does not have to be complex.
Yeah.
And like layouts don't really allow for a lot of backdoors potentially, where it's just like it's 2-dimensional. So
yeah, there's only 2 ways you can go. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think something like that could work in theory. I'd have to think about
it is a cool idea.
Thank you.
It is a cool idea. I like it.
I should be a game designer.
Yeah. Don't worry, you'll get there one day.
Hope so. So I played a little bit of Diablo Immortal since the last podcast. I played specifically enough to get to the point where I was asked to join the Shadows or the Immortals.
And you got to do the lottery?
I did the lottery, and then I joined the Shadows, and then I didn't log in again.
Did you win the lottery first time?
Yeah, there weren't that many people.
Oh, okay.
I think people are stopping to play that game. And you know what? Makes sense. The game's not that good.
Yeah, I really wonder about the longevity of it. It's made a lot of money in the first 2 weeks, but...
Yeah, it made heaps, didn't it?
Yeah.
24 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is quite a lot, but is it enough to recoup their costs? I actually don't know. Well, that game was in development a long time.
Yeah. I just wonder, like...
Yeah, it was.
To me, it like... The way they've set it up, it just feels so much like a
slot machine.
Like a slot machine, but it's like a game that like burns bright but fast, because it's like get as much money out of people before they realize the situation of the game.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
It reminds me a little bit of another big disappointment of a mobile game, which was Elder Scrolls Blades.
Oh yeah.
Which I have not heard of.
Didn't you were playing that though?
I played it a fair bit. I never beat it. I played a fair bit of the beta, I think, and then I think it launched, and I played a little bit of it, and then again I hit a wall, and I was like, I think I see what they're doing here, and I don't care for it. The monetization was not nearly as aggressive as it is in Diablo Immortal, but it was still fairly aggressive. So
yeah, I just wonder what's going to happen, and I don't know. Is Diablo Immortal still going to be around basically in a year? Is it still going to be raking in money? Because the thing is, like, if there are whales, right, that have spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars on this thing, and they're having a great time because they're in PvP just wrecking entire parties, you know.
But then that content's going to fall away as those players realize
as those players stop playing.
It'll be paying players versus paying players. At that point, are they going to be having as much fun?
Yeah. I mean, they'll be on more equal footing, I guess. So is it going to be...
But where does the fun lie? Does it lie in like the challenge of winning, or does it lie in the rolling face? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's got the outcome of your dollars. There's got to be that, seeing the outcome of your dollars, because otherwise, I don't think people would do it. People wouldn't spend 10 grand to get PvP gear and then go into PvP and just like wreck people over and over and over.
But some people legitimately don't care about the money, right? Some people will just drop 10 grand if they can on whatever game they play.
Yeah. I mean, but then it's like, how many of those people are there? Is the longevity of this game just whales? Like,
I think for most free-to-play games, it's just whales.
Yeah, but I think this is more unique though, because you you need the free players for the whales to have a good time, at least in PvP.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, this one I think the loop is much shorter. It's interesting because there's a lot of games that function similarly. To give you an example, Clash Royale, which I played for a long time, a few years ago. Did you play Clash Royale, Paul?
A little bit.
Yeah, so you can buy cards, you can buy all sorts of stuff, and and the cards level up and get stronger.
Yeah.
And there's a cap, I think, in the basic competitive mode, but then there's like a mode where there isn't a cap. But the power difference is there, but not as stark as it is in Diablo Immortal.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot longer, I think, for that to become apparent.
I remember when you were playing that game, it took you months to reach the point where you're like, I think to go any further, I actually have to buy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I hit the highest difficulty.
Yeah.
Like the highest tier or whatever.
Like you were playing it for a long time.
Yeah, several months, I think.
Yeah, and it's been like 2 weeks of Diablo Immortal, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, but the part of the problem there is Diablo Immortal's core systems are so superficial. And in Clash Royale, you've got like a deck of 8 cards out of a pool of like I don't know how many they have now, but it was something around like 30 or 40 at the point that I was playing, I think. And they were regularly doing balance adjustments, and it was PvP, so and it was good matchmaking. And so it was always like I always felt like I had a chance in the next round, and it was about making these tactical decisions and choosing my deck carefully and all this stuff. So it was I always felt like I had multiple paths towards victory available to me.
Yeah.
And often victory or defeat was in my control. But there were systems I could look at and play around with. And in Diablo Immortal, it's like, well, I guess this piece of gear is stronger than that, so I'll equip it.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the same 8 quests. And then, I guess I've hit my cap for the day, so I'll log off.
Yeah.
And I'll just wait.
Yeah. Cool.
And thank you for the game, Blizzard. Like, I think I said it last week, but I've played idle games that are more engaging than than Diablo.
Yeah, that's pretty that's a devastating critique, I think. Idle games are more.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing an idle game. I don't, did I mention it last time? I've been playing an idle game called Infinity Island.
I don't think you mentioned it last time.
Okay.
Did you?
So, maybe not. I downloaded it on a whim.
Yeah.
So it was by a developer who made a game I played years and years ago, called like 10 billion or something like that. It was like like the number 1 and then a whole bunch of zeros.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like a match 3 game with like lots of sort of meta upgrades, and you have to escape this dungeon basically. So this developer made a sequel to that called You Have to Build a Boat, which was basically the same game. And then I was like, years later, suddenly I'm like, I wonder if he's made any other games. And I look up his Google Play whatever thing, like the developers page. And there's this idle game, and I'm like, that's a weird direction to take. So I download it. It's completely different to his previous games.
Wow, cool.
And it's just and I start playing it. I'm like, this game's kind of dumb. Like it's I don't care for it. I'm probably not gonna play it.
Yeah.
And this was about 2 months ago. And
I
play it every single day.
Wow. Whoa.
It's so the core mechanic is like there's an island, and there's pets that you can collect. To collect the pets, you have like a hook shot cannon on the island, which launches out to collect like treasure chests off the coast.
Yeah.
And you drag the treasure chests back to the thing, and you tap on them to like open them up, and it can take an amount of time to open up chests.
Oh yeah, like real time.
They've got HP.
Yeah.
And you tap them once, and then every like 2 seconds or whatever they'll tick down based on your tap power, basically. So
it's not a thing of like you tap on it and then it's like this will open in 2 hours.
No.
Oh, okay.
This part of the success of this game is a lot of it is dice rolls.
Yep.
And it's I mean a lot of it is timers, but they've hidden the timers behind lots of obfuscation and stats and almost everything has the capacity to be affected in some way through these stat systems. And so that core loop is like go collect some chests, open them up. The chests contain items and sometimes an egg, and the egg hatches into a pet.
Oh, neat.
And you can store a certain number of pets on your island.
What do you do with the pets?
They generate gold, but you can also basically use these objects that are inside the chests to upgrade the amount of gold they generate.
Okay.
And then you use the gold to upgrade like basically a treehouse on the island with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's so many systems and subsystems in the game that there's always stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm not like collecting these chests, sometimes the pets are producing these bubbles that contain items, and you just tap on the bubbles to like get the items. And then there's like a whole late in the game, you get there's like a whole research laboratory that lives under the water that you stumble across in a really interesting way.
Wow.
There's like a weird story that like very slowly is being revealed that I'm intrigued to see more of. It's just there's lots and lots and lots of different systems and subsystems.
Yep. And
there's always something. If I just want to sit there with the second screen,
yep,
I'm watching something stupid.
Yep.
And I want something to do with my hands. There's always something for me to do. It's way more engaging than Diablo Immortal.
That's incredible.
And I spent like $8 on it. I was like, this is.
Oh wait, is that buying it?
No. It was a
microtransaction. Whoa, you spend money on it.
I spent money on it.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's a ringing endorsement.
That's right.
Holy hell, you didn't even spend money on Clash Royale, and you played that for like a year.
Correct.
Wow.
But part of this is like I'm not against anybody. So like the money is the incentive is not like I want to be better than these other players, which I always find kind of a gross incentive for a free-to-play game.
Yeah.
Well, when it's like, hey, it's basically saying this player spent more money than you. You should spend more money than them.
Yes, it's no longer a battle of gameplay; it's a battle of wallets.
Yeah,
and I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Whereas this is all solo. It's all just like, do I want to speed up my progression / do I want to like support the developer? And I'm like, I'll support the developer.
Yeah.
So, I've been really enjoying Infinity Island. If you want like a weird idle game, this is one that has a lot of little things going on that's quite interesting. The UI is fucking terrible. Pardon my language, but
I was just about to look it up too.
You should try it out. The UI is acceptable. Yeah. Like I've gotten past it. There's too many buttons. And it's a little clunky to use at times, but I don't know.
Escape to a simpler place.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's what I've been playing.
That's what you've been playing.
I think I've tried some other things. A lot of mobile games. I played some more Stanley Parable as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretty much just Infinity Island.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You guys got anything else?
Well, did you guys watch any of the
Oh yeah,
the E3? I guess like
no.
What is it even called now?
I think it's still E3.
Is it? I literally have not seen the words E3 plastered anywhere.
It was just a bunch of showcases, game showcases.
Yeah,
like developers doing their own showcases.
Right. Okay. Well, I watched. I don't even remember what one it was. Maybe Microsoft one or something. But the standout of that block was it showed Starfield.
Yeah.
Which looks exciting. I just really hope, I really hope they nail it.
What is it?
It is, as far as I can tell, it's like Fallout / Elder Scrolls, in space.
Okay.
It looks to me. It looked a lot like No Man's Sky, like a lot like No Man's Sky. You land on a planet. And the planet is they say the planets are procedurally generated.
Did they say that?
Yes.
They said there was 1,000 planets.
They said there's 1,000 planets. Yeah. So I think what that kind of means is like they use some procedural generation to create the planets because you can't handcraft 1,000 whole planets.
You probably could.
Because they'd be working on planet 1 still now. But the thing is, what I think is great is that unlike No Man's Sky, they're like, we'll just cap it at 1,000 and then like do some handcrafting,
make
some content in there. When No Man's Sky was like, how about we do like 10 trillion billion quadzillion planets
and do nothing.
do
Put no reason to visit them.
Yeah, and be like, every planet's different, but really every planet's kind of the same.
No content sky.
Yeah. I mean, and don't worry, we'll add content over the next 6 years,
Which they did.
Yeah,
To their credit.
and it's pretty decent now, but it's still
I've
like
heard
it's such a sandbox.
Yeah.
You know, it's really just a sandbox. There's a few like quest lines and storylines and stuff to follow, but it absolutely is just a sandbox. You just fly around and basically do whatever you want and
Yeah. So
build your base, and that's it. But
Starfield has factions, and
Mm.
storylines, and morality, and quests, and items all over the place.
Interesting.
And crafting, and skills, and combat, and guns. The thing about Starfield is the core gameplay loop, to me, does not look fun.
which is what is that?
Like going to a place
Yeah.
and then shooting a bunch of dudes. Like the thing is, shooters.
I mean, could you say the same for Skyrim? You just go into a ruin and killing a bunch of dudes.
Here's the thing, though: the melee combat in Skyrim is interesting to me. Like it's
Is it? You're just swinging.
Yeah, but it's like you have to get in their face. There's like a risk there.
I really disagree about the
That's
Skyrim combat.
Okay. You know what? I get it.
Yeah.
If I think I prefer Morrowind combat over Skyrim combat in some ways. But-
Really? What? You couldn't even block in that though.
Yes, you could.
Wasn't it?
I think it was a chance based.
Yeah, wasn't a chance
Yeah.
space. Sometimes your shield would raise up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember
Perfect game.
in Oblivion, I was like, "Oh my god, I can raise my shield!
Yeah.
This is amazing! This is the greatest game ever!"
But you could also swing in different directions, and like the direction that you swung in would determine the style of attack and the amount of
Okay.
damage based on the type
Yeah.
of weapon.
Yeah,
And so there's like there's some depth there.
yeah,
My point is that like going into stealth and sneaking up onto someone trying to do a
Hmm.
sneak attack, or
sure, yeah, okay,
like there's things that you can do that are interesting
yeah,
around that combat.
yeah.
Uh,
But I would also say the combat is not like the main focus of that game.
No, I would probably agree with that, but I think I like the kinetic sensation of melee weapons and like that fantasy setting.
You mean you get right up in the face, you see the thing you're fighting, like it feels more, I don't know, gritty.
Yeah,
like-
it's confrontational. And,
Yeah.
and
Shooting someone from, I don't know, 20 meters away is less interesting to you.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
the AI in the demo they showed, it looked bad. Like the dudes were facing the wrong way, and like it
I didn't notice that.
it just didn't look very good. I haven't played a
This is-
lot of Fallout, but I played
Yeah.
a little bit of Fallout, and I was like, the fact that there's guns makes this less interesting.
It is a very like I'm so hopeful, but like their track record lately has not been.
no, it's been bad.
yeah.
Who's making it?
Bethesda.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
hence all the Bethesda games we've been talking about.
It definitely looks. Yeah, it definitely looks more impressive than when Fallout 4 was announced.
The ship combat is interesting to me. That's the thing I think
Hmm.
is most interesting to me. Is like you go into space and you fly around and you blast the ships with your ship. That's cool.
Hmm.
But I don't care about going down on the shooting dudes with a
Yeah.
with a
I
space shotgun.
like. It depends on what you're doing. Like, I mean, if you just like, you just go in there and it's every quest is like go down to this base and shoot these dudes. Like, that's not interesting. But like the quests in Skyrim, even though a lot of them were just like going to this ruin, they were still kind of interesting. Like they still had like little stories going on within the ruin.
Sure.
You know, there was stuff happening. So
They also did little puzzles and little
Yeah.
twists on the gameplay, and
so like I hope that is
I do
what
too.
is going on there, because if you're just like I'd be shocked if it is just go down to this thing, clear these guys out, come back.
I get part of the. I think it's also just the setting.
Yeah,
I
you're not a fan of that sort of.
Well, look. Let's say I land on a planet. There's a
Mm.
compound.
Mm,
Even the coolest compound.
yeah,
I'm going in there. Like the most exciting loot I could probably hope to find is a gun.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And whereas like in Skyrim or whatever, it's like an awesome staff or like an enchanted sword.
What if you get an
or, like-
awesome gun?
But that's the thing. Like it's still like okay,
Yeah.
this gun.
You mean it
shoots
doesn't?
twice
You mean it
or
doesn't
whatever.
change your gameplay? It's just like
It's not even necessarily that. It's just like there's a sense of mysticism and lore and history about the setting of the Elder Scrolls world
yeah,
that a sci-fi game just struggles to meet. Like it's hard to create that sense of awe about an object in
Yeah.
a sci-fi
Well,
setting
this
because
is-
all the objects tend to be new.
Well, here's the thing: in a lot of sci-fi settings that do have that
The
sense of
ancient
awe,
alien race or
it's
whatever.
it's an alien thing. It's like a monolith.
Yeah.
It's a something
yeah,
like
and that they've
like-
certainly hinted at that in the.
yeah. I mean, you basically are injecting the fantasy element into sci-fi to get that same sense of
But
like.
if it's an alien gun, I don't care. If it's still just
yeah,
a gun,
I get it, but what if it's not? What
if
like,
it's an alien
wait-
sword and it's like this is a magic sword and like
You don't even know how many like what classes
This
are.
is
Like
true.
maybe there's
This
a
is true.
full melee class.
you're
Maybe there's
completely
like
right.
like some mech class or something. I don't know. Like we just don't know yet. But
Yep.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yep, that's
you know?
fair.
Yeah.
I really hope it's great.
Yeah.
There's some things that are exciting about it. I think it's also going to be a really good litmus test for what the next Elder Scrolls is going to be like.
Yeah.
So
I think like do you remember when Fallout 4 got announced?
no,
It was I remember that was basically the first Bethesda trailer I'd ever watched where I was like, this doesn't look very good.
okay,
Like the graphics looked like I don't know, pretty subpar. I thought, but this looks great. Like I'm not so
like-
far. Well,
Severn sent me a screenshot of I think it was a Reddit post.
Yeah.
of like the conversation
oh, yeah,
animations where it's real stiff.
Yeah.
Basically Skyrim and
I'm not even.
Fallout
I'm not even
style.
thinking about that.
Yeah, and I was like,
I'm
yeah,
not even thinking
of
about.
course.
I'm thinking about like the environments and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It-
Actually, yeah, I didn't pick up too much. I don't even think they talked too much about the conversation stuff, did they? Like I did see video of like NPCs talking, but yeah, it did look kind of like whatever.
yeah.
But I don't know how. I don't know. I don't know how their conversation. I just they're probably just the same as like as Skyrim or Fallout, basically. I would assume.
Do you think they're gonna bring back the wheel from Oblivion? Did you play Oblivion, Paul?
I don't even. I think so, but I
Yeah.
don't really remember.
There was like a little talk wheel where it was like you could
Oh, I do remember.
bluff
that.
or
Yeah,
lie
yeah.
or intimidate
That was
or
weird.
or admire or something like
And you
that.
didn't? Wasn't there like a picture of the character's face in the middle of
I
it or
don't-
something?
I
And
don't
it's like
think-
you had to
No, it
judge
wasn't.
by.
It wasn't a picture of the character's face, but as you highlighted over it, I think the character's face would react.
Yeah.
And then it would also have like the effectiveness bar, like how effective
Yeah.
it would be.
Yeah.
That lasted exactly one game.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were some. It's always interesting to see what systems they carry across and what systems they don't.
Mm. I think
like-
the lockpicking is like one of the best systems they've ever
Yeah,
done.
I always quite liked their lockpicking.
Yeah. I mean, it carried over into Fallout.
Really?
Yeah.
The same sort of slow twist.
Yeah, yeah. And you have the lockpick jammed in there, and you're turning
Yeah.
the thing until it jiggles. Yeah, I had the same thing in Fallout. And then because I remember in Oblivion, I could never get their lockpicks in Oblivion. It was such a hassle.
Yeah. Lockpicking in Morrowind, very different.
I don't remember lockpicking in Morrowind.
It worked very similarly to blocking.
Oh,
Put it
it's
that
just a
way.
chance. Cool.
Well, it did feel like I think in maybe Skyrim that there was just a chance that something would just break like the moment you started. It was one of them.
Maybe.
There was still just a chance that it would just break
Oh.
immediately.
Oh. That
It also
doesn't ring a
depends
bell,
on the
but I believe
strength
you.
of the lock. Like if it's a extremely difficult lock.
Huh?
It also depends on the strength of the lock.
For the
or the difficulty of the lock. I mean,
it was the width at which your error of margin, your margin of error rather.
But it was also more harsh. Like if you got it, if you tried to open it and it was wrong, it would snap your thing straight away instead of like with the lower ones, it wouldn't snap it.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
the more difficult ones.
Yeah, the more difficult ones did definitely feel like you just got one shot and then that's it.
I recently saw a video of a baby watching his dad play Skyrim.
Yeah.
And the dad was breaking lockpicks and the baby was laughing hysterically. So that was
great.
pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I just was surprised at how much it looked like No Man's Sky to me.
Yep.
Like they're even like mining minerals off a cave wall.
Yeah,
like,
I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Interestingly, the only other game that they showed this whole E3, I think it was E3. Anyway, the only other game that I really cared about, Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Oh, right.
Still exists.
Cool.
Still in development.
Yep.
Allegedly coming out this year.
Nice.
Allegedly.
I don't even know what you said.
Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Oh, right.
Hollow Knight.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you ever play Hollow Knight?
I did.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. I ended up getting frustrated because I'd get lost so often. That for me was the downside of that.
Because that world is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quite cavey. Well,
Yes.
very cavey.
Yes.
It was very easy to just end up in the wrong place.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one of the downsides of having a world that large is when you have to go to a different location.
Yep.
There's like a time commitment for that. You know, okay, I want to, the piece of content I want to engage in is on the other side of the map. I have to put aside 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah. Wasn't there
that's
some
it.
sort of fast? There was like
There's multiple
things
forms of
you could,
fast
nodes
travel.
you could go between.
Yeah, but they all go to set locations.
Yeah.
And then there's usually nothing in the immediate vicinity. They're in the middle of a bunch of different things.
Yep.
And so you're always going outwards from there to a new location.
It feels too much like backtracking, right? If you're going back through an area that you've already been to get to like some new thing.
Those games do. You're gonna backtrack those sorts of games. They try to make it not feel bad. First of all, they try to put a lot of content that you can't necessarily engage with early on in those throughout the world, so that like when you're backtracking, you rediscover, oh, I've got the ability to reach this now. Like,
yep.
They also have resources that you generate over time by killing enemies, so you feel like you're making progress regardless. But yeah, there's a lot of backtracking.
And the backtracking when you feel like you're getting lost is pretty rough. Because
Yes,
not only are you going back ages, you're also going the wrong way, which means that you've got to go back through the wrong way you went and then back the right way.
Yeah. Late.
I still really like the game. Though.
Yeah.
I'm just giving it a bit of shit. But...
Yeah. Quite late in that game, you unlock the capacity to basically create a recall point.
Okay.
So that you can like warp to a specific location of your choosing.
Yeah.
But it's quite late in the game, and even then, it's you're warping to a specific location from wherever you are, and only one location. So
yeah.
If you end up going way in the wrong direction, without that, you just kind of like, well, either I die or I just turn around and go back. Yeah, it's there's elements of those games that are a bit of an acquired taste, but I love the world building in those games.
Also,
specifically in Hollow Knight,
visually was really quite cool,
and the music.
Yeah,
the music in that game is just phenomenal. Blake, now that you've beaten Zelda,
yep,
Hollow Knight,
I have installed it and I started playing it.
Really?
Not very much, maybe like 10 minutes, just getting into the the actual start of it. It's such a good vibe, that game.
That game is fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's also a game that I think gets better and better the further you go. It's fantastic. Really good. We are out of time. You guys got any last remarks?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
All right.
I haven't played... well, no, I already said that I'm determined to finish Death Stranding.
Yeah.
I'm
Why do you hate yourself, is I guess.
I'm so close to the end. I thought I just had a huge ass boss fight, which was like one of the worst boss fights I've ever seen in a video game. Like
What
really.
was so bad about it?
It was okay. So you're fighting this like giant humanoid that's like slowly walking towards you, and you have a rocket launcher to shoot at it. And you're like, okay, that's fine.
Sure.
But then, like, you most of the time you can't actually see where you're going because, like, to shoot this rocket launcher, it zooms in. Like you look through the
scope or whatever?
scope, yeah,
Sure.
and it zooms in. And the thing is like firing these like jellyfish guys down at you, and also firing tentacles at you that catch you, and you have to press X to shake them off. So most of the game
I
is
hate
just
that.
like I can't see what's around me except for like through the scope, and I'm just like shooting this thing. And then when I go out of that, I find that I'm on top of a building because a building has risen up below me, and I'm like now
game is this?
on top of it. And this thing just the thing is, I don't think like I stood there and I got hit so many times by these like jellyfish things and these like tentacles that this guy is shooting down at me. I don't think I lost any health at all. So I'm like, what is the point of this? And there's also like this weird artificial barrier in like you have this huge arena area.
Yeah.
Like this big like it's a big like square in a city, you know. It's like a big city square. But this enemy puts this artificial like weird barrier around you, so you can't even make use of the full space that's there when you're fighting this giant guy. And he just slowly walks up to you, and you're like basically looking straight up at him.
Yeah.
So you can't see anything that's around you.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it.
And I the thing is, I beat it, and I was like, that was like the stupidest fight in this entire game.
Hideo Kojima does not make good boss fights.
No, I don't think so.
Like, think about Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I can't think of a good boss fight in that game.
I've never played Metal Gear Solid.
I only played the first one, and it was such a long time ago. I have like no input at this point.
I think the very first boss fight was like Revolver Ocelot. I think that one was kind of fine. But then like later on, there's like Psycho Mantis,
Right.
where you have to like swap controller ports.
Oh Jesus, what? Such bullshit.
Or there's like the Sniper Wolf one, which was like a real weird boss fight.
Right.
And then
well,
against the Metal Gear, it's like shoot the weak point, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just I don't think he does boss fights very well.
No, I don't. I like the boss fights throughout Death Stranding have been like not really the main part of that game. Like they've been fine.
What has been the main part of that game?
Walking around.
Yeah.
Walking.
Yep.
That's the real boss is walking. You walk down a cliff. Like that's the thing. You get through a dangerous cliff. Oh man, you feel like you've beaten a boss. There was that
The
one
boss in that game is your patience. Like, can you
It is
invest
great.
the will
Dude, it
to
has
play a
such-
different game?
It has such great moments when you're just like, the thing with that game is that you're just walking along this great vista, right? And then it just starts playing some like lo-fi music, and it comes up with the like with the title of the track and the band, and it just starts playing, and it's just like you're just walking. You walk and listen to music, and you're like, "This is great."
Wow! Imagine if you could do that in real life. Imagine if you could go outside and walk and listen to music at the same time.
It is like that. It is totally like that.
Wow! I'm so glad I spent $80 on this.
I didn't spend $80. It was on sale.
Okay, good.
We could try Pokemon Go next.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of people talking about that recently.
Well, I've Pokemon Go really recently.
yeah, it seems like people started playing it again or something.
Really?
Like,
is there
it just keeps coming up.
is there a new like
I don't
expansion
know.
or something, or is it just most places are done with the pandemic, so they're like, "Yay, we can go out."
Decide again.
I have no idea, honestly. Yeah.
Apparently, there's battles in it now.
Yep.
Someone
They've
was
had battles
saying.
for ages, though.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
That was did
played
you-
it when it came out and then forgot about it.
Oh my god, that was such a craze.
And
we had a
people
good
getting hit by
time.
trains and stuff.
Yeah.
Finding dead bodies in the parks and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time.
Good times. Bring
If
them
you-
back.
if you found a dead body in a park while playing Pokemon Go, email frenzyquestions@gmail.com. Or if you've got strong opinions about Death Stranding, email frenzyquestions@gmail.com.
Director's cut is out now. Death Stranding director's cut.
Oh, just what we need.
He's added a. Did I tell
more
you?
content? Oh boy.
He added what would you call it? A cargo cannon, so you can fire like fire packages across the map.
Instead of walk.
That sounds great.
Yeah. I don't know how it works though, but I've just seen this like weird giant cannon
So here's
that you
the
load
director's
with.
cut. Turns out people don't want to spend all day, every day, walking from point A to point B.
I
So
really
we cut
like
out
that.
all of the gameplay. Now you shoot packages, and you still fight a guy who's shoots tentacles and
Yeah,
jellyfish.
that
at
boss
you.
fight was just. I don't even know what the hell they were thinking with that.
Anyway, my sister president with the handprints or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. That game's
Yeah.
silly. All right, we'll be back in a couple weeks. Bye.
So did you have to do the lottery thing to join the shadows?
Yes.
Yep.
So dumb.
What's that?
I joined the shadows and I had to do that
Oh,
lottery
yep,
thing. It's
yep.
so stupid. All right.
Was it everything Paul described?
I don't know because I joined, and then you know what? I didn't play again
Yeah.
because that game is boring. It's worse than it was in the beta,
Yeah.
like or the alpha, whatever I played. Carl informed me, and then I checked to make sure.
Yeah.
When you get to when you get to the level cap and you start unlocking different difficulties for dungeons, there's like hell is one of the difficulties.
Okay.
And to do a dungeon at hell difficulty, which I think is just one step above normal,
Yeah.
you have to be in a party of at least 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which you don't have to be in a party for 2 people for
Anything
anything else. And,
Right.
Like, none of the dungeons before that.
Is hell
normal
is
difficulty.
hell the top tier?
No, you start going into like
There's
torment.
hell
Do you need
two
more
and-
people every tier?
I don't know. I didn't. Why would I bother even looking into that?
Why do you think they did that?
Well, I think they did it because they probably have analytics that show that players who play with their friends
Yeah.
stick around longer and spend more, and therefore we are going to mandate that you must play with your friends to progress.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Like I hit.
Well,
as soon as
especially
I saw
if-
that, I was like, oh, I don't.
Especially if
care about
throughout the
this at all.
entire game you don't need to
You
party
can,
up
you
with
can go
anyone.
solo the entire game except for this one
And-
like optional dungeon thing.
Mm.
It is a lot better to like queue with randoms though, versus doing the dungeon solo. Just in terms of rewards, you get way more in a party.
But I don't care about the. I mean, I guess I care about the rewards, but I don't want to play with other people. Like, I'm not playing Diablo because I want to play with other people. It's just I don't know. The fact that they force it upon you is stupid to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Because you can only get the gems drop if you're in a party of 4 people.
Really.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have to... this game.
But you can still get them through like random daily rewards and things. You'll still
Oh,
get some
okay.
gems, and you
Yeah.
can still buy them with one of their currencies.
One of their... How many... Oh, man. I saw some... I was watching a video where they said they had like 20-something currencies. And the thing is, I'm not even sure if that's just being them being like hyperbolic. Like, it just sounds... What you guys were saying, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like 20-something...
Yeah,
technically 20-something
well, could be.
currencies.
Yeah.
There's if you consider the runes
Yeah.
like a currency, which they are because
Mm.
they have no function other than to buy the legendary gems. As far as I can tell,
Hmm.
there's more than 20.
True. Yeah.
It's such a game that's been so like specifically crafted to just have every possible hook, like free to play monetization hook possible. Like so many different layers of currency and like
Well, the thing is, like the fact that there's a lot of currencies doesn't necessarily mean it's like that's not necessarily a problem.
yeah, but isn't it how they all interact? That's the
It's
problem.
not even
Well,
necessarily
all
that.
of
It's just
them
how they're
being-
metered out.
Right.
And all of them being exclusive with no carryover to the other kinds, I kind of have a problem with.
Yeah, they're all.
There's no
sectioned off for their
exchange
own-
rate between any of them.
Yeah.
There's no, so it's not like that thing with gold. I just have a shitload of gold.
You can't use the gold to buy
Yeah.
runes, for example.
I can use it to buy
Gear.
random rares, and I
Yeah.
don't need rares anymore. And scrapping the rares, I guess I'd get that upgrade currency
I
out
think
of.
the random rare, or at least now, for the random rares had a chance to become unique
Okay.
or legendary. But I don't know if that's the case now. But even then, it's like you're doing it to get the materials to scrap, and then you hit the cap at some point,
Hmm.
and then you've got more gold. You've got gold you can't use, or gold you can spend on things that you know you're going to scrap, but you can't. Scrapping it doesn't do anything because you can't upgrade your gear
Yeah.
anymore. It's bad. It's really bad. Bad game.
Did you see someone came out with like a Diablo Immortal simulator?
And it's how much it spends to get to 5 stars or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yep.
Sounds good.
You got stuff to talk about? I know you do. I know you do.
What, finishing
You got-
Zelda?
Yeah.
What's there to talk about? We've talked about Zelda for so long.
Finally, you actually get to speak from a place of knowledge.
I'm also real close to finishing Death Stranding as well.
Who cares about that? That game's garbage.
I had this boss fight that was really quite shit in
In
Death Stranding. Yeah.
What did you think of the boss fight in Zelda?
It wasn't as good as some of the others. I liked because I did all the DLC bosses.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were like going from them to just the last Ganon fight.
Ganon is tuned to be like you've done half of the content. Basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Every dungeon you do makes that fight easier.
Yeah, it just
It's a-
felt
it's a
it
weird-
felt like a
Bit of an anticlimax.
yeah, because I was expecting I don't know. I was
Massive
expecting
resistance.
yeah.
Hey, why don't you start a new game, go in there with a stick and see how you go.
Yeah, maybe. Going in there with a stick.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
You just get off that plateau and then you just go straight to Ganon.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can do that is so cool to me.
Yeah. It's great though. I like it's such a good game.
Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be most of this podcast. I'm sorry, guys.
I don't think so. Like I just don't know what there is to talk about with that game.
Oh, we'll
Like,
find it. We'll find it.
I think it's been 3 years I've been playing this game.
Have
The funny thing is, when I was finished, I was like, "What am I gonna do now?" I just felt empty.
you done all of the little shrines?
No, like there is still stuff to do, but
Yeah.
like after that big whole it's this whole big goal working towards.
Yeah.
And after that, it's just like I guess I'll just go around and see what I can
There's-
find. I
I
never
hate
found.
doing that.
We'll talk
games.
about what else there is to
I know
do.
something I can do, and don't give me any hints on it. But I never found the shield, the Master Shield.
There's no such thing as the Master Shield, but you're talking about the Hylian Shield. and
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
exactly where that is.
Yeah, so yeah, I never found that.
Okay.
So I was like, I could go and try and figure out where that is.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's
We'll talk
there's-
about it.
there's
Let's talk
stuff-
about it.
There's
Let's talk
stuff
about
I can like to go and do that I'm
Yeah.
excited to do, but yeah, once I just beat Ganon, I was like, yeah, it's just like, oh, what else is there?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about
Yep.
exactly what else there is.
That
That game's the best.
Yeah, and so I went and started playing Death Stranding
Because you hate yourself.
because I want to finish that.
Okay.
I got high on a let's finish games thing.
And then you play Death Stranding, you're like, oh, I don't like games anymore.
Death Stranding.
I forgot most games are bad.
You know, I know very little about that game, and I watched like a bunch of my sister's partner play it, and I still know very little about it. But he
I've-
was just walking around with backpacks a lot.
Oh yeah, I was thinking it's just a. Well, everyone said this. It's just a delivery sim. You literally most of the time when I started doing side missions for ages last year, for most of last year of me playing this game. I was just doing side missions of just deliveries, and I built a road, and I had a truck. I had a delivery truck, and I would load it up with stuff and just go around delivering stuff.
Why are we wasting all this gold off of podcasts right now?